Now that there is Waterloo Bridge. It's sometimes called by Londoners the Ladies' Bridge because it was built by women during the Second World War, 1939 to 1945, while the men were away fighting. A great piece of engineering and construction. And thanks to those women, we get some great views. It was named the Waterloo Bridge after the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Total length of the bridge is 1,230 feet, 80 feet wide, and the longest span between the arches is 233 feet. And I am filming this for International Women's Day. So that's Waterloo Bridge, designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott, who also designed the famous red telephone box and Bank Power Station, which is now Tate Gallery, but built by women. This is a bust of Agatha Christie. She's the best-selling fiction writer of all time, selling in the excess of 2 billion copies of her books. And I highly recommend the play Witness for the Prosecution, on at the moment at County Hall in the South Bank. And of course, she's the most translated author of all. And The Mousetrap, a play on in London, is the longest running play in the world. Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp. A nurse during the Crimea War. Here she is helping soldiers into the hospital, probably at Scutari. Florence Nightingale, while at the Scutari hospital in the Crimean War, dedicating herself to the health of soldiers, brought in techniques like as simple as hand washing and many other techniques to clean up the hospital, and the rate of deaths of those in the hospital dropped from 40% to just 2%. And here, teaching at a nursing school. This monument is to Edith Cavell. She, after looking after her sick father, she became a nurse, and during the First World War, she nursed British prisoners and Allied prisoners during the First World War. But she was accused of being a spy after helping British prisoners escape from the Germans, who then killed her by firing squad, which caused outrage throughout the world because that was never done to a woman before, or it was never done to a woman during the war. The Allies, when they captured any women spies, they imprisoned them, but never ever executed them. Edith Cavell said, "Patriotism is not enough. I must have no hatred or bitterness for anyone. And on the back of the monument it says faithful unto death. On the four sides of the monument it says humanity, devotion, sacrifice and fortitude. Wow, this is a great monument, great statue. And Mary Seacole is facing Big Ben. Mary Seacole, nurse of the Crimean War. She was born in 1805, Jamaica, and died 1881. It's written here at her statue, wherever the need arises, on whatever distant shore, I ask no higher or greater privilege than to minister to it. And it says here, this bronze disc bears an impression of the ground taken from the site in Crimea, where Jamaican nurse Mary Seacole ministered to British soldiers during the War of 1853 to 1856. And it also says, I trust that England will not forget one who nursed her sick, who sought out her wounded to aid and succour them, and who performed the last offices for some of her illustrious dead. This is Violet Szabo, born in 1921, died in 1945. She volunteered to be part of the SOE, Special Operations Executive. She was known for her infectious Cockney laugh, as well as her courage and bravery. She was finally caught by the enemy and they executed her. She was aged only 23. But she managed to send over vital information for the war efforts. I'm here on the third floor of the Science Museum, where I'm going to look for the gypsy moth that Amy Johnson flew in being the first woman to fly solo from England to Australia, and the first woman to receive a ground engineer's license. And it says here, Johnson captured hearts when she flew from England to Australia in 1930. She soon set new records with other long-distance flights. As a woman, she was barred from the RAF during the Second World War. She joined the Air Transport Auxiliary instead, ferrying aircraft to airfields, but died after bailing out of her aircraft over the Thames estuary. So here on the third floor of the Science Museum, it was a gypsy moth named by Amy Johnson, Jason. It's the aeroplane that she flew from England and the UK to Australia. The first woman to do so. She did it in 19 days. And en route, she broke the record from flying from England to India in the fastest time. Marie Marvin, she pioneered the idea and championed the air ambulance service, saving countless lives during the First World War. This is Noor Inayat Khan, who was a spy in the Second World War. Caught by the Germans, she was executed at Dachau concentration camp. Born in 1914, died 1944. It's in the northeast corner of Gordon Square. She lived in this area. This bust is of Virginia Woolf, the famous author. This is in the southwest corner of Tavistock Square Gardens. She was born here in London and lived in Tavistock Square, and she walked many miles through the city, helping her with her writing, and even more importantly, helping her with her mental health. And in the southeast corner, Tavistock Square Garden, is Louisa Brandreth Aldrich Blake. She was a pioneering surgeon, and she was also the Dean of the London School of Medicine. She encouraged women into the career of medicine. Just walking on the outside of Tavistock Square, I can see that Dame Louisa has two busts, one on either side of the stone monument for her. And forgot to mention, she was also exceptional in boxing and cricket. For someone born in 1865, that's very good. This statue by the House of Parliament is of Emmeline Pankhurst, who was a militant leader for the suffragette movement of women. Their actions brought about eventually the right for women to vote, but many were imprisoned during their time. And this is Christabel at the same monument as her mother, who worked just as hard to get the right to vote for women. This is a monument in Whitehall for the women of World War II. The different types of uniform, or clothing I should say, different types of clothing show that the different jobs that the women did during the war. Keep the country going, keep the country alive. This beautiful statue says, "From children of the Loyal Temperance Legion, in memory of work done for the temperance cause by Lady Henry Somerset, the President, National British Women's Temperance Association, incorporated June 1896, and there's an inscription at the bottom of the plaque saying, 'I was thirsty and ye gave me drink.'"
And also, like countries like Germany, where the industry is based around like the
Millicent Garrett Fawcett. She believed in campaigning using peaceful means so that women could get the vote. Lovely clock, shame the time's wrong. Here I am at number 60 Fairfield Road, Bow in East London, place of the matchmakers' strike. In 1888, about 1,400 young working class women at the Bryant and May match factory walked out in protest for pay and better safety conditions. It became the most successful trade union strike of its time and influenced the men for the Great Dock Strike the following year. This is the British Lion, also known as the Code Lion, here on Westminster Bridge. Is made out of a secret formula made by Eleanor Code, a type of terracotta which is durable in all weathers. This was made in 1837 and has been out in all weathers, rain, sleet, snow, and it's still here. We're not going to see it very well, but over there is a fountain with the crown on top. I believe that's the fountain that was put there in 1977 to mark Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee. She went on to become this country's longest reigning monarch. And the second longest reigning monarch is another woman, Queen Victoria. This is off limits here because it's in the grounds of the Houses of Parliament. This blue plaque at number 23 Russell Square is for Lillian Lindsay, first woman to qualify as a dentist here in the UK. She also went on to be the president of the British Dentists Association. Marie Lloyd, the Victoria musical singer and performer, was born here at number 55 Graham Road, Hackney. And she became the biggest performer on the Victorian stage for her singing and great wit. Everyone loved her. She was born here. She lived for quite some time in Hendon in North London, where she had her funeral, and over 100,000 people poured out into the streets for her funeral to see the coffin go by. Here at 39 Shaftesbury Avenue lived and worked Fanny Wilkinson, born in the year 1885. She started her career with the Metropolitan Public Gardens Association. And Fanny Wilkinson became the first female professional landscape gardener. This is a lovely statue of Margaret MacDonald. She was married to Ramsay MacDonald, and I believe he was the first Labour Prime Minister. Margaret was born in Kensington in the year 1870, and her and her husband lived here in Lincoln Fields. She was much loved because of her very kind work and service to other women and children. And her and her husband and her children lived here. I'm not sure if the statue is representing all her children. I don't think so. I think they're representing that she had great love and charitable feelings towards others and worked tirelessly for others during her life. This is a tram subway down Southampton Road, no longer in use. I've just walked down Arundel Street, down the hill towards the River Thames. There's a lovely patio here, you get a great view of the Thames, but I don't know what this piece of art is. Oh, you got feet there. Hands there. What does it all mean? Okay, it says its globe is simultaneously the universe, a single drop of water magnified, a womb and a grotto, embedded with the monstrous splayed forms of our amphibious past. Above all, it is a Sisyphean ball embodying the relentless determination required of women to overcome obstacles and a joyful embrace of the absurdity that defines all of our existence. This, what I call a patio, is actually a roof terrace on top of Temple Underground Station. That sound is the underground train coming into the station. That says mind the gap, upside down. The River Thames.